Good morning, everybody. It's Rob Garcia, the Warrior Strategist, coming at you from San Diego, and welcome to Friday. Today is your daily portal training. I've been doing this for a couple days now, just teaching you guys about the portal, about the way that I'm going from point A to point B at an accelerated rate to grow my business. And today we're going to talk about growing your brand. Things that will help you to get noticed, things that will help you to strengthen and position your brand in a more visible manner. Many years ago, somebody in the entrepreneurial space, I asked a question on Facebook and I put up my logo and I said, what do you see what do you think of when you see my brand? That was exactly how I worded it. And I remember one guy in the entrepreneurial space said, looks like you don't have much of a brand, bro. And that stuck with me because it stuck with me for two reasons. A, it was incredibly dickish. And B, it showed me that I didn't know what a brand was in the context that I was confusing a logo with a brand. A brand is a personality of a business. It is the culture. It is what it stands for, its values, its morals, its messaging. A brand is much more than a logo. People think that, oh, I have a logo and I have a website and I've got a couple of social media posts, I must have a brand. No. A brand is a movement. It's got a unique audience. It's got its own world if it's done successfully. You know, you think about Microsoft or you think about Nike or you think about McDonald's. I mean, say what you will about those companies, you know what they stand for. You know what their values are. You know what kind of people gravitate to them. All right. Growing your brand involves a couple of things. And the Warrior Strategist brand has grown over the years since that guy said that to me. I've won 4 business awards. I've been interviewed a lot. I've been on TV. I've, started clothing brands. I've started Shift Magazine. I've done a lot of things to grow the Warrior Strategist empire as an individual brand. And so I'm grateful to that guy for his shitty comments. I did block him, but at the heart of it, he got me thinking that I have a lot more to learn about branding. And I started doing things for brand growth strategy. And it goes a lot deeper than just your social media posts or doing a couple of graphics or, like I said, getting a logo. The steps that I took that helped grow my brand were consistent media coverage. So a lot of interviews, talking about what I do, what I stand for, all that stuff, the Warrior Strategist. By the way, shout out to Ginger and David at Really Designs who made the Warrior Strategist clothing line. This is a piece from the collection. You can get it at Really Designs /Warrior Strategist, I think. But I started doing things to get recognizability. And I started doing media interviews. I started a more consistent social media schedule. I took a branding course from Desislava Dobriva that helped a ton. She's known as the branding queen for a reason. And I hired a global brand strategist, Jillian Sandoval. And both of those actions, both of those people were valuable in their own way, actually invaluable. Because Desi taught me from a teaching perspective. Jillian taught me from a doing perspective. I hired Desi and took her course and paid for one of her books to learn. I hired Jillian to create and to do the campaign for me. And part of it actually is this portal training, which I've been doing for a while. And it's working out really well. Building the brand is about sending the message out to the world about, what it is that you're doing. What do you want to stand for? Like, what are you working on? What do you believe in? We all know that when I go live, I talk about veterans, or I talk about entrepreneurs, or I talk about things in business that I've learned. It's always from a perspective of education and teaching. because that's my background. That's what I love doing, because I was always had such a hard time in school. Growth of your brand needs social media. And a lot of times it could benefit from a media platform. And the two are not the same thing. A media platform is your own podcast, magazine, blog, interview show, YouTube channel. A media platform is some medium where you can either put out information like a YouTube channel, or you can interview people or write features. Any of those things can be a media platform. Doesn't have to be super fancy. Like I have Shift Advanced Life Design, as you guys know. It's a lot of work creating a magazine. It's a lot of hours. It's a lot of extra effort. But it also unlocks superpowers. A media platform associated with your brand strengthens the brand. It shows credibility. Branded books can align with your business model. You guys know that I'm the creator with Kate Monroe of the Body Man series. And while this isn't a branded business book, we just released one, actually, another one. But branded books do help. Consistent social media with a brand palette. That means using consistent fonts, themes, colors, understanding the psychology behind the design of it, right? All of these things go for a more consistent brand versus showing up kind of haphazardly whenever you feel like it and like, hey, I'm just going to do what I'm doing, and I'm going to drop a meme here, and I'm going to do a random post bitching about the government, and then I'm going to do whatever. That's not a brand building strategy. It doesn't unite anybody, doesn't get people excited to view your content. Okay. Focus on a unifying message. And Mark Dudek's popping on saying he's catching me at work. Mark Dudek's done a spectacular job of teaching people about outdoor hardscapes. He is the owner of CSD Hardscapes in Ocala, Florida. He's a veteran, works really hard. He makes amazing outdoor hardscapes. Could be lagoons, water fountains, fire pits, things like that. And the point is, he's in a consistent brand growth strategy from a teaching perspective. I see stuff on Facebook. I see it on LinkedIn, and he's doing a great job because guess what? More people are knowing about what he's doing. His graphics have improved. The quality of what he's putting out has improved. He's taking the time to write posts that are thought-provoking. Mark's a great writer. He did something the other day on LinkedIn that I shared that was about just the advantages and disadvantages of different materials. Guess what? Mark is teaching his industry, strengthening his brand at CSD Hardscapes. He's letting people know what it is that he stands for and what he does. And that's a great way of getting visibility. He's also spreading the brand across multiple social media platforms. And it's consistent. What Mark says on Facebook, he's saying on LinkedIn. It's always the same message. Like, hey guys, this is why you should use outdoor hardscapes for the value of your home. He's speaking to homeowners. He's speaking to land developers. He's speaking to construction companies, all these things, right? So when we talk about strengthening a brand, Mark has been really, really clear about what he does, who he appeals to, who he's talking to. He even prefaces his stuff with, hey, homeowners, or hey, developers, or hey, construction company workers, owners, whatever. These are the things. I'm going to show you guys a couple things about outdoor hardscapes. And I'm glad Mark's here. Mark is a perfect example of what I'm talking about taking a brand and having all these essential elements that contribute to growth. Consistent messaging across the board is what attracts people to you. And just think about what you're putting out there. Joanne Angel Berry Cologne just popped on, and I've noticed an up level, a massive upswing in her stuff. She put a picture the other day in her studio. She had her tarot cards lined out. She had like a great backdrop. It was the best picture of her I've ever seen. And this is why. It was super clear. It looked very high res, and it showed her inner element, right? She went from somebody who does some fitness and does some spiritual stuff and teaches about astrology to someone that actually has a branded show, to someone that has brand value. If you're interested in spirituality and learning more about what astrology and what spirituality and what your sign and what all these different things, planetary alignment, all these things can do for you, Joanne is highly regarded. And just with one photo, her brand value actually skyrocketed in my brain. I've known her a long time. She's a great person. I've never seen her in that capacity. And it would be like if she saw me on TV talking about PR or something, right? It was just brand strengthening comes from how you portray the brand, what you put out there, the visuals, the graphics, all these things. And you should always be trying to up level, okay? You should be always sharing knowledge and teach your industry. That is a Robism from way back in the day, but teach your industry. One of the 4 tenets of Taxi EQ, my visibility program, is teach your industry. Get out there and tell people things they can't learn in books. Tell people things that you've learned in industry, that you have learned in your experience, doing whatever it is that you do, okay? Consumer protection type things. Hey, this is how you avoid scams in this industry. I'm always teaching about PR scams because there's a lot of dirtbags out there. And I'm trying to protect people. So having a brand that feels like a friend is a great thing, and that's how you get growth, get people on board. Have an appealing message. Learn how to communicate effectively, whether it's video like I'm doing or posts with really fun, compelling graphics. Always be growing. Always have an interesting message for people to consume. Don't just put stuff out there to put stuff out there. And make sure to talk to your audience, not at them. You notice how I'm name dropping here deliberately with people that are watching this? It's because I know them. I know what they do. I know who their audience is. I know how to direct my traffic, my network, my audience to them and why. That is how you grow your brand. You integrate and you connect and you're visible and you create value. That's all I got for today. Thanks for joining me for this portal training about growing your brand. I'll see you tomorrow, same time. Rob Garcia, the Warrior Strategist, and as always, stay famous.